Well, if we're gonna find any ghosts, we better split up.
You're listening to Never Split Up, a horror movie podcast.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Hi, everyone, once again to the Never Split Up podcast. This is episode 92, and today we are covering I Know What You Did Last Summer, released in 2025, the brand new one. And that's an important note. If you guys didn't read the entire title, this is the new one we're covering. If you want to hear coverage of the original and not get this one spoiled, go back. We covered it, I believe it was last summer, right, Ant?
Either last summer or 2 summers ago, but
I can't remember. Yeah,
I hope it's last summer because that's fitting.
it was a while back. I think it might have been last summer, but check that out. But for now, yeah, this is the new one. We covered I Still Know What You Did Last Summer a few weeks back, so check that episode out. And this is going to be a fun discussion. We both saw this in theaters just this past weekend, opening weekend. What's going on, Ann? How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's cool that we're covering 2 brand new releases back to back. It's exciting getting the new stuff in because that's what everyone's talking about. So I'm excited to talk about this one.
Yes, definitely. It's been a busy summer. We've been talking about it all summer. Busy blockbuster summer with horror movies in every genre, really. So we covered 28 Years Later, featuring Oriana Nichelle. Once again, she came on. That was a great discussion. We had a lot of fun, and thanks to all of our viewers for that. We can't wait to have her on again, so thank you again to Oriana. But yeah, two brand new movies back to back, kind of our initial reactions. I saw this last night.
Oh, okay.
So this is kind of, I've had like 24 hours to digest it and process it. I obviously only saw it the one time. I know you were going on Thursday, like opening night, and did you get to see this? I'm assuming at least a couple times.
Yeah, I literally saw it 2 times back to back on Thursday, like a 2 o'clock showing and a 5 o'clock showing. So I've seen it twice. And I think for this movie, we'll get into it, but I think it's important to see some of these movies twice. But I can't wait to get into it.
Okay. Yeah, so you've had a little bit more time to digest it and form your thoughts. You saw it a second time. So I'm really curious to see. I mean, fans of the podcast know this is like one of your babies, this franchise. The first 2 movies mean so much to you. Not necessarily the third one. I don't think many people
really include
that. Yeah. But the first 2 movies, you gave them pretty much perfect scores, 10 out of 10, and was it like a 9.9 or something out of 10?
It was like a 9.9 and a 9.8, so they're my babies.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was really anxious to kind of hear your thoughts on this movie. I kind of went in thinking you'd be maybe a little biased, but then I thought about it, and you care about this movie so much that I thought he would either be biased or he's going to nitpick the hell out of it because he does love it so much. So I was also thinking right before I saw it yesterday, this might be like a Salem's Lot scenario where I thought about that, yeah. Because I don't really care about the decisions made. Right. But I love the first one. So, and this one
it's still
really
important to you, right?
Heavily relies on the first one. It's what they call a legacy sequel, a requel, if you will, nowadays, and we'll get into that. But yeah, let's just dive in. I think this is going to be a good discussion. Do you want to cover everything, the cast and crew? And
yes, I'll give you guys. I mean, the IMDb synopsis is literally the first movie's plot, but a group of friends are terrorized by a stalker who knows about a gruesome incident from their past. It literally just came out July 18th, 2025, directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson, and was also written by her and Sam Lansky, and it stars Chase Sweet Wonders as Ava, Madeline Klein as Danica, Jonah Howard King as Milo, Tyreek Withers as Teddy, Sarah Pigeon as Stevie. I almost said something that I shouldn't have said before the spoilers part. Billy Campbell's in this. We have our returning characters, the lovely final girl Jennifer Love Hewitt as Julie James, and Freddie Prinze Jr. as Ray Bronson. And then we have a few side characters, but we'll get into it. And yeah, this just came out, last weekend. So like Nolan said, this is very fresh. So I'm very excited to get into our overall thoughts because we're going to have to dive into spoilers once the overall thought's over because there's so much to talk about. And we're going to have to jump around a lot. It's not going to be, I'm going to have to get a lot off my chest. So we're not going to be very traditional as going through the plot. We're going to jump around a little bit. So let's get into our overall thoughts.
Yeah, let's get into it. And like I said, I watched this on Sunday, and I was pretty active on Twitter all weekend. I didn't see any spoilers per se.
Good.
But a movie like this, even reviews that are technically spoiler-free, it does kind of indirectly spoil what to expect. So I suggest if anyone is listening and they haven't seen anything about the movie, just stop now, because we're technically not going to give you spoilers right away, but I would I would have liked to go into it completely blind. So I kind of,
for sure,
you know, like I knew that there was like a crazy ending and stuff. So like I knew like certain things. But yeah, just be warned. So who wants to go first? Do you want me to go first and give me my overall? Or do you want to go?
Whatever you want. I can go. Whatever you want to do. It's up to you. But yeah, guys, if you're gonna see the movie and you haven't seen it yet, stay off social media and don't watch interviews because these studios don't even care anymore. They're gonna do whatever they want to get your butts in the seats. I mean, I saw interviews that spoiled, literally talked about cameos that were supposed to be a surprise. And I mean, I avoided 28 years later spoilers for a month. I mean, it's not hard to scroll past quick or like mute it and then move on.
And to their credit, but before this weekend, they were pretty.
For sure.
I didn't see anything, but now it's like good. They wait one weekend and now it's like all over the place. So just
it's like Marvel, like spoil the cameos and then just get them in the try to get them to buy tickets. But all right, let's get into overall thoughts. Let's go.
Okay, I will go first. Then we'll save you for last.
Okay.
This is a very confusing movie for me. I like the movie. I'll start off by saying that I think it's a well-made slasher. I think it's fun. It has some pretty good kills. I would say it's a step above. If you guys listen to I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, I wasn't a huge fan of that movie, and particularly the kills, they weren't that memorable. This was definitely a step up in the kills department. I like the new characters. I thought all the new characters kind of played off each other really well. I thought they really had good chemistry too. More importantly, they did have like standout performances within the group, but that core five I think really played off each other really well, which I thought was really good. So as a movie, like a singular movie, it's good. It's fine. It's a little messy here and there, especially as you get towards the second and third act of this film. But slashers are messy, especially modern slasher. Yeah, you almost expect that messiness. As a movie in this franchise, and particularly a quote unquote legacy sequel, this just isn't it, man. This isn't it. This is what I feared when I saw the trailer. You were kind of surprised that I didn't love the trailer. It is very, very generic. We've seen this before. At this point, it's 2025. We're kind of like a few years into this whole legacy sequel, trend. And I get technically they made some swings, especially at the end of this movie, but the overall blueprint and heartbeat of this movie is very familiar. They played it very safe in that department. I think they mishandled our legacy characters severely. A trope that I think I've talked about on this podcast is when we come back to returning characters and they're no longer together. I think we talked about that. I was really disappointed to see that Julie and Ray are not only no longer together, but it sounds like they really don't like each other at all.
They hate each other.
Yeah, they hate each other, not to give too much of a spoiler. But it almost felt like they were shoehorned in just to get butts in seats, because I think this movie actually would have benefited if it was just a straight up sequel, similar to how Twisters, I don't know if you saw the new Twisters movie, how they kind of handled the quote unquote legacy sequel, where they had nods to the original, but it was its own movie with its own cast. If they would have just left Julie and Ray out of this movie completely, I think I would have liked it a lot more. Better than what we got. Obviously, I love seeing them on screen again. That's the reason I was excited for the movie. But if you're gonna do it right. I love that we're back in Southport. I hated that it looked so different, and obviously that's a major plot point in the movie. I would have liked to get those older vibes from the 90s with Southport, and we kind of get some of that. They tease you with that, especially at the end of the movie. I wanted that throughout. So I didn't love the whole upper class town whatever. I just didn't think that felt like this franchise. And this is where we get into spoilers. I'm not going to like reveal the spoiler, but the twist at the end. Not only was it predictable, I mean, it was so predictable. I like clocked it from the jump almost. It was just like, it felt so forced. I really want to hear your opinions on it, because I'm a guy that likes when filmmakers take swings, especially in sequels and established franchises. We've talked about this, like, don't do the same old thing. So I in that regard, it's like, okay, they went for it. But if you're going to do something that big, you better handle it with care. And I feel like they just missed the mark completely. Again, I'm trying to be a little cryptic here.
I know we have to be careful.
Yeah, we have to be careful. But the whole thing with the nostalgia and the commentary on nostalgia didn't work with me. It was very inconsistent, dare I say, and that's kind of another spoiler that I want to get into. I can't really talk about now. But overall, this is just, when you factor in the fact that it's an I Know What You Did Last Summer legacy sequel, it's very mediocre. I don't hate it as much. I should say I don't dislike it as much as I Still Know. So I do think this is going to be in the middle of my rankings, but it doesn't even come close to the original for me. I mean, I gave the original like an 8.5, which is really high for a slasher in my book. I don't think it touches the original, and I just think if this movie came out in like 2018 or 2019, maybe it would be better for me. But because we've seen this before and it's just so overdone at this point, I wanted something different, and they didn't really give me any of that. But the new cast of characters, it saved it for me. The kills were pretty decent. I thought the villain, what's his name, the fisherman, I thought he was pretty menacing in this film. He was pretty scary. There's some pretty intense scenes. We didn't get the big chase scene, which I was hoping for. We got 2 big chase scenes in the first 2 movies. Every time you thought there was going to be one, it kind of ends abruptly, and you're like, damn it. It's almost like they were teasing you, like they knew you were looking for it. So that was a bummer. But yeah, overall, it left me with a sour taste in my mouth, especially that ending, and I can't really say that I recommend it for longtime fans. But who's to say? Because I've been seeing people on Twitter that are fans of this franchise that love this movie. So it's kind of all across the board, and I think you're going to get that with such a divisive ending. You're going to get people all across the board with it, but I think it overall just didn't work for me.
Okay, yeah, it's so funny listening to you. Like, it's so hard to talk about this movie without spoilers, so I can't wait until after our overall thoughts. But, all right, before I really get into it, just to give you guys some context, I mean, Halloween and Scream are my babies, but I Know You Did Last Summer is right under that. Like, this is so important to me. Like, I Know You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know, like, mean everything to me. And I remember we talked about Halloween and Scream a little bit. We've done, like, rankings and a couple episodes. I mean, we had to see Halloween 2018 twice to, like, really let it settle in, because that was, like, whoa to us. I had to see Scream, 2022 and Scream 6 multiple times in the theater so I can, like, really get a, really good feeling. And, I have issues with some of the I love Halloween Kills, but it's frantic, so we'll get into, I have some issues. I love Scream 5, but I have a couple issues. I think Scream 6 is a great slasher movie. I don't think it's a good Scream movie. So, like, I'm partially looking at these movies because specifically those 3 franchises mean everything to me. So I just wanted to say that because I didn't go into this movie looking for like a light and fun like summer slasher escapism and like just a casual fan. Like, I come into this movie looking at it like this is my baby. So I mean, I had girls in front of me like who probably went to go see like The Star from Outer Banks, and they were like fucking having a blast and cheering the whole time like this was the best thing ever made. So just get that out of the way. I thought this movie was super silly, cheesy legacy sequel that did play much better for me the second time I saw it than the first, because I knew what kind of tone I was getting. I knew what, where it was going and what was happening. So I will say, I do think that it's a very rewatchable movie, and it's like ridiculous fun. And, I watched it back to back twice in a row, and I didn't have a problem doing that. But it is extremely flawed for me. And I think that the campy tone was way too forced, and at times it does feel like a parody. Whereas I mean, I know you do. I mean, the premise is ridiculous for these movies. We know that. That's why we love slashers, and these are ridiculous. But specifically, I still know what you do last summer. In my opinion, you camp is not forced. Like this movie, the director, she was like, "We're gonna be camp. We're gonna go for camp." In my opinion, camp is when you play it straight and serious, and then it naturally comes off as silly. Like I thought, Will Benson, you get it? Like he was being so straight and serious in that sequel. And how? Because that's camp. That's iconic camp. This one, they're like, yes, queen, like give me my Xannies and all, and that's not my. I know what you did last summer. It's just too much. So I thought that it was extremely forced to be comedic and try to be campy. Like the cool thing is to try to be campy, and I think that's also an excuse so many movies are getting lately. Like, oh, I'm not into your movie. Like you don't get it. It's just camp. I'm like, no, I do get it, but you don't try to do camp too hard. It should come off naturally. So I thought it just went way too far into the silliness. I appreciated the nods and the surprises. We'll get into like specifically if they work for me or not, but I appreciated them. As far as for the ending, I do appreciate a risky ending, but it didn't completely work for me because this movie is very messy and so much of it is rushed. And specifically the third act, if you're gonna do a bold swing like that, it can't be rushed. And the finale of the movie is the most rushed part of the entire movie. So that's a huge issue for me. I love the sound design, especially on a second time watching it. The sound design of the fisherman was excellent. The cinematography, I get what you're saying that they filmed it somewhere else, but I thought it was colorful and popped, whereas a lot of movies these days are so like gray and gloomy. So I thought the colors in this was awesome. But overall, it's super flawed for me. It's not my I know what you did last summer, and I know and I still know mean everything to me, and this comes nowhere close to the 90s slasher awesomeness of those films. I don't think it has to be like those films, but it just tried to be campy. Yes, queen. I know what you did last summer. I want to talk about Ray and Julie in the spoilers, but I don't think there's I know what you did last summer without Julie James, and Ray is one of my favorite Final Boys. So I love that they're in here. I don't think they were incorporated enough, and we'll get into. I don't want to say anything else because I want to get into spoilers on both of them. I have huge things to say, but overall, it's fun. Flawed. I will rewatch it and add it to the collection, but it's like I know and I still know we're up here, and 2025 is like here. So I liked it, mixed to liked it with a lot of problems. So unfortunately, it's not the big return to the franchise I wanted, and I have a lot of problems with it. You can't just say your movie's camp and not back it up. I think that because they were going for it to be campy, I almost think that the horror was an afterthought. A lot of the movies like, oh, I forgot we're a slasher. We have to have deaths, we have to have set pieces and kills. And I think that there was 2 really cool deaths, but other than that, I even think the death set pieces were lackluster. And like Nolan said, I know and I still know are known for literally some of the most iconic chase scenes in the slasher genre. In my opinion, the best slasher chase scene of all time in the first one. This movie doesn't have chase scenes. How do you make, and I know what you did last summer, movie without chases? They tried to do one set piece towards the beginning, but it fluttered out before it could even begin. So that to me is a huge, huge no-no for this franchise. So I want to get into it, but overall, I liked it with many problems. I'll rewatch it, but it doesn't touch the first 2. And I will say, like, I did feel like it bummed me out that I wasn't, like, amped on this one. I know it wasn't going to touch those 2 because I'm a 90s kid, but it didn't come close. So we got to get into it. So I would recommend it but again, I'll recommend it for the younger generation. And again, I even leaned over to the people I saw with, I'm like, am I old? Am I the problem? They're like, no, like, this movie has issues. So you might love it for light and fun, casual viewing, slasher fun, but I'm not a light and casual viewer of this franchise, so that's where I'm coming from. So
okay,
yeah,
it's funny you mentioned camp. I agree with you, but for very different reasons. So it sounds like you don't love the dialogue and how it's forced.
Oh, the dialogue is so horrible.
Yeah, it's I actually don't mind it. I think that's just how Gen Z talks. I think that was pretty authentic to that age group. I don't like the camp in terms of like the major heartbeats and plot points of the movie.
Okay. I mean, that too I have issues with, yeah.
The overall camp of the movie itself, the actual individual dialogue, yeah, it was a little too heavy-handed with the one-liners, but I actually didn't have a problem with that per se. It was more of like the larger camp that they tried to force in with the ending and everything, especially. So,
Woo.
okay, let's just dive right in.
So spoilers from now on, guys, because I know this movie just came
spoilers,
out.
Major
But
spoilers for sure. Yes, definitely.
All right, where do you want to start? This is like a movie. This movie's messy and jumps around, so I don't care if we do too.
Yeah, we can jump around. What do you want to highlight first? What do you want to talk about?
I mean, I guess we should start with the accident because that's the huge plot point of the first. Let's just start with the accident. What did you?
I mean, we've seen
what do
it
you
before. I mean, it's just, you know.
Well, we've seen it. I didn't say in our review. I think the first 30 minutes for this movie played really well for me. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Like, Jen Robinson, okay. The accident, so we get this crew. I mean, to my opinion, to Nolan said, I think these characters are not, I mean, again, you're talking to someone who loved the first two. They're nowhere near as memorable as the OG's characters. I actually think that Danica, she's like a fan favorite, but I felt she was so forced in her campiness and her vibe. It didn't work for me. And, I mean, we're in spoilers. I think that she should have died and been killed off.
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree completely. I think they really worked for me. Definitely more than the sequel, the original. I still know.
Oh, no.
I think Madeline Klein was great. I loved Shea Sue Wonders.
Yeah, she was
Ava,
good. She was
Armeen,
good.
she was great. I think they all worked really well. So I think that's where
Yeah.
we're going to differentiate.
Oh,
Because
for
that's
sure.
one of the major things I like about this movie.
Oof,
I think one of
okay.
its saving graces.
I don't hate them, but like I'm just like, eesh, trying too hard. All right, so the accident involves Danica, Ava, Milo, Teddy, and Stevie. I just want to get into it. The first one, to me, the atmosphere and the mood of I know when I saw in this. The first one with that accident, these 4 teenagers, they physically hit somebody and dumped his body. They made so many bad, horrible decisions. So they not only hit someone and, they thought they killed him, they dumped a body after he came back and grabbed a crown and they just left him for dead. That is so different than this. And I actually appreciated how it was done differently. They didn't even hit someone again, but they didn't technically cause it. I mean, no, Teddy was being an asshole in the middle of the road. But that guy, what the fuck is that guy? I forget Sam Cooper. He flew around that corner so fast and he just tried to veer off and he veered off the road. So and they tried to save him and he was like being creepy and like grabbed through the window. So their moral decision that was their problem was they left the scene after Teddy called the cops. So that's the choice that they made that was, they couldn't live with. It doesn't compare to what our foursome did in the first one at all. They literally hit somebody and dumped his body. So while I appreciated the swing and visually, I actually thought that scene was visually very well done. It didn't have the same impact on me because the characters didn't have the same huge. I could see how in the OG that's life-changing shit right there. This one, it's like they left the scene. It's still like you're gonna be traumatized and messed up, but they weren't left with the same moral dilemma as Julie and crew was in the OG. So that's where I'm coming at. But I did appreciate, the visuals of it.
I do think you're downplaying it a little bit. Obviously, they didn't directly hit the guy and kill him, but they were in the middle of the road. Even the car was in the middle of the lane, pretty much.
I mean, it's not good.
I forget what it's
OG.
called. That corner, what they call it.
That was.
The guy. I mean, they caused it. They didn't directly hit the guy, but they were smoking and drinking. I mean, they were under the influence. So while the trauma may not be there because they actually didn't kill the guy, he kind of killed himself. They indirectly caused it, and I understand. I think they did enough in that scene to make you understand why they left. I think that's all. That's the important thing, is to make it so the audience isn't rolling their eyes. I think it's just as ridiculous as the OG, where you're screaming at the TV, just call the cops, it'll be sorted out. But I mean, the fact that what's his name has connections with the mayor and everything.
Teddy's
I mean,
dead,
I think it was handled decently well. Again,
I thought it was well directed.
I don't love that this movie is so similar to the original, so that's more of a larger issue with me. But
is it though?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same. You even said it in the synopsis. It's the same synopsis.
Yeah, but the vibe is so fucking different. Oh my god.
Well, I'm not talking about the vibe. I'm talking about the major plot point.
Yeah,
of this movie.
the initial
it's
thing.
The same thing. So I don't like that, but I think this scene in particular wasn't too bad.
No,
I'm glad it wasn't exactly the same.
No, I thought it was well directed. I'll give it that. So then the typical we go a year later and we have our very Danica is engaged to. Oh no, that night she was engaged to Teddy, but then we go a year later and she's engaged to someone else. I think his name's Wyatt or something. So yeah, we had so that's our crew. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about when they get it? She gets a no. I mean, the first chase. We want to talk about Ray and Julie. I feel like there's so much to talk about and jump around this fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about. Let's get into that first kill.
Okay.
I think that was one of the standouts of the film.
Tyler,
the
the podcast chick.
No, the fiance.
That was that. Oh yeah, that.
I think
that
he was the first kill.
I honestly.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was.
And then the podcast girl was second.
Yeah.
Because they were already kind of. Yeah, I think he was the first kill.
Yeah,
he was.
Sure
that's what.
Because it was that night after the party that he died.
Yeah. So
that was really.
I thought that was a pretty cool set piece. I'm really bummed that they showed it in the trailer because it's like you kind of knew what was going to happen.
Well, when you only have a one good set piece, of course you're gonna have to show it in the trailer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was four kill set pieces in the movie. I think I counted them. That were like legit kills. There were some kills that happened off screen. Which sucks, especially the pastor looked pretty gnarly. It would have been cool to see his kill, but yeah, there was 4 kills, and so you think this was like the best one by far?
The physical kill, no, the set piece, yeah, yes, I think this is like this one. Like, okay, this is what I'm saying. This was the first 3 minutes. Like, okay, Jen, you're giving me some good like this is the only tension I really felt for the most part, suspense. I thought that played out well, and I actually think this is a good example of camp right versus the rest of the movie is horrible. I love how it's hilarious that Madeline Klein, whatever, Danica, she's listening to her soothing, meditation, and you have the red whatever bath soap, whatever. I thought that was like good camp. While she's listening to her meditation, her fiance is getting killed. Like that. I love how he doesn't just use a hook right away. I love the harpoon. That was cool when he's getting dragged. That was fucking awesome and different. And I like that after he gets killed, like he gets the slash, and then Danica's walking down the stairs and she has like the wedding bells song. But to me, that's good camp. She's like, I hate when she says it's giving nuptials. I'm like, oh God, this fucking dialogue. But I thought that was camp.
You just hate Gen Z. It sounds like you just. You're getting too old. I think
the camp is way too forced. But it was fun.
It's not forced though. It's not
so bad.
When you factor in their age. I think it felt fine to me.
Ugh.
I think you're just getting old.
But I liked that. Like that to me was good camp when she was walking down the stairs and then she found him. He was just like propped up. That was fucking really good. So I was amped. I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's get it. So overall, I thought this was a very, very, very well done sequence, and I was like giving my chef's kiss, like we're in for it after the sequence. What about you?
I agree. Yeah, I thought this was well done. Again, I'm really bummed that we kind of knew what was going to happen. Would have been cool if we weren't sure, because I mean, it's you figure he's going to die, but it would have been cool if we didn't know exactly how he was going to die. So I thought it was suspenseful too. I thought it was pretty well directed. I mean, nothing crazy with the direction, but I think it was suspenseful, and I think more importantly than the kills themselves, the way that he displays his victims in this movie is really gnarly. I think they kind of really knocked it out of the park with some of the victims in this film. Like I said, the pastor towards the end of the movie. You have the podcaster who's hanging. You have this guy who's hanging up there. You have Milo and his father, I believe. Is it Milo? No, it's
it's Teddy and his dad.
Teddy and his dad. They're kind of
that.
Strung up. So I love the way that he kind of stages the crime scenes. Those are really memorable to me.
Yeah. So all right. So we agree. So then I think right after this though is pretty much we get the Tyler podcaster. She's doing like a podcast on the 97 murders. Which I thought, investigative journalist, like Halloween 2018. That was a fun. I think that's fun. I mean, that's very relevant. I mean, we're talking on a podcast right now, so I don't have a problem with that. But it's her set piece when she takes Ava to go see, the scene of the crime of where the iconic Helen Shivers chase scene, and death took place of her and her sister Elsa. I think that this was an opportunity to have an epic, cool little chase scene, and it fluttered out. It fluttered out quick. I think that, and again, I think it was so, like, when she opens her flannel, and it's like Helen Shivers. I mean, that was just like, oh, you do merch? Like that was, I mean, it was cute because we all love Helen Shivers, but again, it feels a little forced. Like I want to, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but I almost feel like because Jennifer Caton Robinson says she's a huge fan of this franchise, and it almost feels like, and I respect fan films, but it almost feels like this was a fan making a fan film. Like take that how you want it, and I respect that, but it did feel like a fan film to me more than like a.
You're talking about the
logical
whole, just the whole set piece in general.
I'm talking about the whole movie when I step back for I
Okay.
think But that's
Okay.
when I get the first hint of like, boo, Helen Shivers. Let's have a picture of her as the Croaker Queen. I'm like, and you're talking to someone who's obsessed with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Helen
Yeah.
Shivers, but I'm like, oh, okay, merch. You do merch. I'm like, stop it. But what'd you think about the set piece? Ava and her in there, and then Ava gets trapped. She gets chased a tiny bit, and then Tyler gets her death scene.
Yeah, this set piece was interesting. I see what you mean by kind of, it's a little too much with the Helen Shivers shirt, and you have the float that's there, that the float. It's funny because the moments like this in the film, and again, I only saw this once.
Mhm.
When I was watching it in theaters, I was like, had a smile on my face,
Yeah.
and it was definitely, what's the term? It was definitely nostalgia bait, and it was fan service, if you will. But as I thought about this movie after the fact, I was like, did I really want that? Like in the moment, it was kind of cool, but especially
Exactly.
when it's not executed the way that it should have been. So if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna have the Helen Shivers T-shirt, if you're gonna have the famous chase set piece from the original, give us something.
100%.
As the kids say, it's not giving.
It's not giving, guys.
I would have loved to see this podcaster. Ava's our main, so I wouldn't have liked to see the chase with Ava, and that's kind of what they did a fake out of. You thought Ava was going to have this big chase set piece, but I would have loved to see. I don't even know her name, who the podcaster was.
Tyler.
Is it Tyler? Tyler? Yeah. I would have loved to see Tyler kind of get chased for her life with the Helen Shiver shirt on, and then she ultimately dies after this long chase, similar to Helen. I thought that would have been kind of cool camp, but no, I mean, we didn't get any of it. You had some cool parts in this set piece with the whole cage that comes down, but because like when that happened, I was like, oh shit, like this is kind of cool. You have our main Ava is like trapped in this cage. Is she gonna watch while Tyler gets chased throughout this whole warehouse or whatever, and she's has to like helplessly watch? That would have been really fun. But no, we have the freaking dumbbell waiter scene, and it's pretty much just Ava trying to unscrew the screws. So it didn't work for me. I thought the pieces were there to make something really epic, and they just kind of squandered it. And that's kind of largely a few set pieces moving forward, which
Agreed.
I kind of agree with you there. They kind of squandered some really cool set pieces, particularly with Teddy. Teddy's set piece at the beginning of his kill set piece was really cool, and I feel like they didn't really execute that great. So yeah, I'm kind of, I guess, on the same page with you there.
I want to go back because what you said about it being like, I feel like all the nods, like, and I'm someone who's like, give me the fucking nostalgia, give me the Easter eggs, but I know, but there's a way to do it, and it was fun and cute. Like that was like fun and cute, but there was no substance to it. There needs to be substance when you're doing a legacy sequel to make it mean something and be powerful. Helen it's so heartbreaking what happened to her and her sister. Maybe comment on that and do a slow thing. And like you said, I think it would have been cool if she had a chase scene, and that's the camp with the Helen Shivers shirt, and then she had an iconic chase scene. She's like, I'm gonna get out, and then she doesn't again. And her death, she gets stabbed. Well, first of all, this death scene gives away who the killer is immediately.
100%.
It's
it
you.
Does.
Well, who are the
I
two
know.
yous that are all coming back? Ray and Julie. So it's Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And also, just a side note, studios and press tours. I love Freddie Prinze Jr. So, I mean, he's one of my boys, the 90s boys. He was going around giving interviews, and studios need to crack down because he was like, this movie is about how, like, two people deal with trauma differently. Wink, wink. Like, no, that's so obvious. I knew from when he did the interviews, like, okay, he's telling me he's the killer. Like, he's dealing with it in a different way. And we'll get into that reveal at the end because I've so obviously this is one of my boys. We'll get to that later. But yeah, this death scene gave it away. If you didn't watch the interviews and press right away who the killer was.
I feel like either the writer or the director of this film is just a huge.
Both. She's both. Yeah.
Okay, I feel like she is just a huge Helen Shivers fan because I love my girl Helen Shivers. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar, but it was too much.
Mm-hmm.
Between this set piece, you have the cemetery scene where they comment on Helen, which I thought was nice. I thought that scene in and of itself was nice because they kind of like show her grave, and it was like a nice.
That was good, and you see Barry's
confirmation
too
of her death.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. But if it was just that, I would have been fine. But all of it put together, we'll obviously get into the cameo. It just felt like it was, like you said, fan service for Helen Shiver fans more than like trying to be a good movie and a good sequel to the franchise. It's like, guys, she's dead. She died. You can acknowledge her presence in the graveyard, but like, why are we doing so much?
And well, funny, I mean, the director's best friends with Sarah Michelle Gellar. So,
well, there you go.
But I just want to, and just, well, I want to get into her cameo later. I know I told you we were going to jump around, but Helen Shivers, Sarah Michelle Gellar is an icon, a horror icon, and she's that bitch. Helen Shivers was not cunty or whatever. She had a traumatic life. Her sister hated her. Her dad didn't friggin' acknowledge her. She's arguably in an abusive relationship with Barry. Her best friend Julie can't connect with her because of what they did. So Helen Shivers had a tragic life. She wasn't this bitch, I'm that bitch, don't forget it girl. She was a very traumatized character who fought for her life, and that's why she's iconic. She had that. So
Yeah.
I feel like this movie's celebrating her as that bitch, and that's never who Helen Shivers was. So and I love the OG, and I love Helen Shivers, I love Sarah Michelle, but it almost feels like they were hyping her up as this legend where she was just a small town girl who had a tragic life, who had big aspirations, and it never came to fruition. So I don't even think they understood the character of Helen Shivers.
Yeah, well, in universe, it kind of gets a pass because her cameo is with a character that has no idea who she is and has no connection to her. So it's almost like, the legend behind Helen Shivers takes on its own meaning. So it almost makes sense in universe, but I see exactly what you're saying.
Right.
No, this is the director kind of telling us that Helen Shivers was this cunty badass when it's like, no, she never was that. So I agree with you there.
And I get what you're saying because I see a lot of people giving it a pass the cameo because it's Danica's view of her, of how she sees this. She was the crook, she's the bitch, and I will say, Sarah, we'll just get to that. Sarah Michelle Gellar is awesome in those 2 minutes. She's fun and she's like,
great.
I'm Helen Shivers.
I love seeing her. In the moment, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
but after it ends, it's like, okay, if you're gonna do it, she wasn't even in the green dress from when she got like it wasn't. I'm like, come on. And she was just, she's like, don't fucking forget my name. But again, it gets a pass because it's Danica seeing her, but that's not Helen Shivers. That's like her visualization of her. And I thought it was a cool scene and very cute throwback to like, how do we get Sarah Michelle Gellar in this movie that's cute?
Yeah.
But that's what I keep saying, like, it's cute. It doesn't mean anything. And that's a problem.
I would have loved to see Julie James have this vision for obvious reasons. They could have did it to where they didn't need the deep fake and the makeup to make her look younger, which I thought kind of took you out of the scene. They could have just did Sarah Michelle Gellar as she is now, and she could have visited Julie in this film somehow, and it could have been a kind of a cathartic way for maybe Julie to get back into the action. I thought maybe that would have been a cool way for Helen to kind of show up and be like, listen, you need to help these girls, I died, something cool like that. But
something with substance and meaning.
This
and
way,
it's
like
frustrating because that's what I'm saying. The movie, for me and for you, people they weren't going for that. They were going for campy, silly stupidity. Like, it's a stupid movie, and it knows it, and she's just trying to make it times 10 pedal to the metal and it's trying too hard. Where we want the fun of a slash movie, but if you're going to bring these characters back, who I don't think there would be a movie without them, and there should be, they need to have meaningful moments. And I cannot wait till we talk about Ray and Julie, because talk about a lack of opportunity for powerful, meaningful moments. You had Scream 5, people say that the trio wasn't it. And I even say, like, I'm like, Nev Campbell, that's my big ding that she was in it. But now I'm like, thank God that she at least had some physicality and fight at the end of that movie. And Dewey and Gale had an emotional scene. I'm like, oh, thank God for that for my baby, because this doesn't have that.
Well, let's get to Ray and Julie. So we get our main Ava, and I actually thought this is a pretty clever way to kind of explain everything of why they're going to Julie James instead of the police. So you have Teddy's dad, who's kind of
wiped
keeping
everything,
keeping the police on at his fingertips, and they're kind of wiping everything, including this new accident. So the police, we've already established, are not going to help our characters. I thought that was a pretty kind of clever way to kind of say, okay, we're on our own. Because going into it, I'm like, why the hell would they go into, Julie?
That's
why don't
like
they go to the
cool
police?
screenwriting.
So that was interesting. That again was another reason why I pegged Ray almost from the start, because it's like, okay, he's the only one with motive. Like, why? The fact that they like washed away Southport and they developed onto it and turned it into like the New Hamptons.
I can't wait.
Obviously, Ray's going to be salty about that. So that was another reason why I was like, oh, Ray is definitely behind these killings. So I thought that was really poorly handled, but we'll get to that. So first, let's get to Julie. She's the first one to show up in this film. And as soon as I saw her, you have the whole speech with the PTSD and the trauma, which again, we've seen before, but I get it. Like, they have to comment on that. It's almost like they're checking the boxes of what a legacy sequel does. And we get Ava kind of introduce herself, and Julie is like, oh, I'm not interested. Like, I was really bummed out, because as soon as I saw this scene and this first interaction, I kind of knew what Julie James' role was going to be the rest of the film. It was pretty, played out for us already, and I was really bummed. So I don't know how you feel about this entrance back into the franchise for her.
Yeah, I mean, guys, like, watch our final. This is my 5th favorite final girl of all time, so she is one of the biggies for me. And like, I agree with you. Like, again, obviously these women went through traumatic things as final girls, so I can't really see a way around. I know people are tired of the trauma shit, but horror movies are trauma, so get over it. I like how she's a professor. I like her little speech I like that she's a PTSD professor. That's cool. That's, a little different than other people. Laurie Strode was struggling with it. Sydney went the complete opposite and tried to have
she almost
life.
It felt like H2O Laurie for me.
Yeah.
How she kind of rose above it.
I do like, again, so it's a fine introduction. I do think that Jennifer Love Hewitt, she's given so many trailer lines in this movie, so she does sell I just have one question. What did you do last summer? Like, she played that to me, like, she's playing it straight and serious, which is what I want in a movie like this, and you can laugh at it if you want. They feel like the new characters, the way they deliver it is almost like pause, wait for the giggle from the audience, and go. And I just like,
It's funny you say that, because the person that it bothered me the most from was actually Freddie Prinze Jr. I feel like his line delivery was way off compared to Jennifer Love Hewitt. I thought Jennifer Love Hewitt was great, and so Freddie Prinze Jr., even before the reveal, it felt a little too forced from him, and then especially at the end, it was like,
we gotta get to that, But I like her introduction. I like how she brought her back to the house. I like how we saw a picture of Barry and Helen, but not Ray.
Helen
so
again.
Clearly, but that to me, that was subtle.
I know.
Like,
that was what I wanted. Yes,
right.
But
again, it's Helen Shivers overload. But I'm like, oh, where's Ray? So it's like, what happened? And then you have the typical, like, you gotta find him before he finds you speech, which is good. And then after that, it's like, I hope she's not in the movie enough, dude. She's not in the movie enough. And that's, to me, like I said, Halloween is Laurie, Scream is Sydney, I Know is Julie. You need these people. If you're gonna have them back, have them be prominent. We'll get to the ending, but Julie doesn't have one physical scene, one fight scene or anything in this movie. That's a travesty. This is a fucking final girl. And I know people say, Julie moved on from the trauma, she doesn't want to be part of the violence, or maybe Jennifer Love Hewitt didn't, but you're in a slasher movie and you love I know she loves being a final girl. She posts about it nonstop. We'll get to the ending, but the fact that that ending didn't mirror the OG in a different way, hurts my
Well, correct
heart.
me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Jennifer Love Hewitt actually fought to have more screen time.
She did.
I believe I read that she read the script and she's like, I need to be in this movie more.
Yeah, which is
and they added a scene or two, which
so
is crazy
disrespectful.
because She's
barely
already
in it.
not in the movie at all. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
it's not
she
like she
fought.
wasn't willing.
Yeah, so she was like, I don't want to. I think her direct quote, I don't want to come back for a 5-second cameo just to say, ha, here
Yeah.
I am. She wants to be part of the plot. And while she is sprinkled out, which I appreciate that she's sprinkled out, there's not enough substance of Julie James. And we'll get to her first scene between her and Ray. But I thought the introduction was fine, and her conversation with Ava was good. I mean, Jennifer Love Hewitt's doing everything she can with the material she's given because she's not really given much to work with.
I thought she did great for what
Yeah.
she had to work with.
Yeah, me too. But overall, as a whole, I was bummed about Julie James' appearance in this movie. We'll get to more later, but the introduction was cool overall. You know, I want my final girls in my movie. And when you're not fighting or having an active part, it bums me out.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying when we get this introduction, I'm at least sitting there saying, "Fuck!" Like, okay, she's not going to be in this movie. Like, I
Yeah.
got that
Oh,
vibe
yeah.
instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like it's a check-in movie with Julie James. I'll go see her a couple more times and that's it. And that's not what I want.
Let's just stay on that with her and
Okay.
Ray. I mean, we
Yep.
get introduced to Ray, I think, at the town hall first, but let's stay with Julie.
Yes.
They have the scene together where Ray goes to Julie's house, and even this scene, it's like, how do you fuck their reunion up? There's nothing there. There's no substance. They didn't talk anything about why do they hate each other. What's going
That's
on?
what
Like,
I
they
want,
couldn't
yeah.
incorporate any of that. It was just Ray getting all butthurt that she told, our lead to fight back, and then the
Right.
scene ends, and you're like,
Okay.
that's it?
So much to address. These are two, like, I telling you, like, Lori, Dewey, Gail, Sydney, Julie, Ray.
Yeah.
Those are my people. So these are huge characters for me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So this first interaction, I mean, again, I like that you get the suspenseful moment of Julie looking at the cameras, and then you see it's Ray. She's like, fuck. I'm like, but why fuck? Why?
yeah. Why?
What
I know.
happened? Why do you, because it's not like, I alluded to it earlier, like you said they don't like each other. I'm like, they hate each other.
Yeah.
And these were, so they're divorced, but like, I want to know what, I don't want to do the work. You have to show me or tell me. And again, which is why I think at the end, he should have had a longer monologue and describe why they deteriorated. Like, what went wrong that she dealt with her trauma in her way and he dealt with his in the way he did. Not just because I liked, and it was fascinating. He was like, they erased us. They erased what happened. She's like, who cares? And he's like, but I wanted more. It was one line in the ending, and that's it. I wanted to know why do they hate each other? Why did they break up? It didn't have to be a whole like flashback, but like maybe in, like you said, the first conversation reunion they had, they got into it a little bit, and we found some of that backstory without getting a 10-minute scene, but at least give me a 3-minute scene, not just like,
Yeah.
fuck, like I just want to make sure you're okay because everything's happening, and then they both get phone calls from Stevie and Ava. He's like, I wish I didn't tell you, it's like Ava, he's like Stevie, and then they just exit. And they're only seen together again as the final moments of the movie, which we'll get to that, but I have so much to say about that. But yeah, I agree. There's no substance
Yeah, there's
to
nothing.
our final boy and final girl of the franchise.
I think they were definitely going for the same beat as I Still Know, where it's like Ray is a Southport guy and he stays in Southport and Julie wants to move on. But again, it doesn't explain why they hate
Right.
each other so much.
Exactly.
So it's like
what
there's
happened
so much more to
cause
that.
that initial
Yeah.
how bad does his trauma get and that caused her to leave, or vice versa? How maybe she moved on and he couldn't, so he hated her. Like, but I want to know that.
Well, especially because now she's a professor who teaches
Right.
that trauma changes people differently. So you would think she'd have empathy towards someone who reacted so differently because
Right.
she's now a professor and she understands it. So it's like,
Right.
what are we doing here, guys? Yeah.
And if now she doesn't, why? What's so bad that he did that she had to move on? So that
Yeah.
to me is so disrespectful to our characters, especially when you're going to make our final boy of the franchise the killer. You have to do the work and you have to flesh it out. This name of the game of this movie is rush, 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 especially with
Yeah.
them two.
And it's an extra bummer because, I mean, we'll see if they do another film, but Ray's dead now. So we're never going
I
to
hope
get
to God that he's
other
not.
than flashbacks, but
I
you
hope
don't
to
think
God
he's
it,
dead?
I mean, he has said
just for the sake of like saving
the
their
sake
relationship.
because
and, yeah.
Julie and Ray have. First of all, I know him, but Julie should have fucking killed Ray, not Ava. So fucking made me so mad. We have to get to the endings because it made me so mad. But
okay, yeah, let's
we'll
let's
get there.
take a pause on that. Yeah.
But yeah, so the reunion again. I just cute. like we see them on the screen together, but no substance. We don't know why they hate each
Yeah.
other. Just a quick check in with Julie and Ray because we have to have a scene with Julie and Ray together because it's I know what you did last summer. Bummer.
Yeah, again, it's like it's forced. It's like, okay, we're giving you this, now let's get back to the movie I want to tell. But it's like, why did you have him in the movie if you didn't want to respect their legacy? And apparently she's a huge fan of this franchise, which
Right.
kind of bothers me. It's like, if you're that big of a fan, then why aren't you respecting? It's like, again, it's almost like she cared more about Helen Shivers.
She doesn't
And
know
her-
how
and
she
her
didn't know how to
impact
balance.
then-
She couldn't balance
Yeah.
the new crew and the legacy. And again,
Yeah.
I don't
Is
think
she
this,
a new director? Is she kind of a
Actually,
newcomer?
She
or
did
has
a
done
movie.
stuff?
She did like a Mean Girls-esque campy comedy on Netflix called Do Revenge. I thought that was fucking awesome. So she did that. I think she did a show, but she is, I don't think she has many credits, but she has a visual. She has the flair there. She just,
Maybe it's just a lack of experience with juggling, the characters. Maybe they could have gotten a more
I
experienced
think
director.
she went fan 110% forward and forgot about the story and for the characters and, in my opinion, the horror of a lot of it was lacking.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah,
not
I know.
for her.
Unfortunately, it's what I expected. It kind of fits the mold of that modern slasher where the horror elements kind of take a back seat and it's more about kind of the larger than life characters and the humor and the camp. So this, unfortunately, overall was kind of exactly the tone
Yeah.
I was expecting, which was why I wasn't super thrilled about this movie coming out. I was hoping to be pleasantly surprised and wrong, but
Yeah,
I can't
I
say I'm
wanted
surprised.
the campy tone of I Still Know, like I said, where they still play it serious and it's hilarious because of the silly things naturally, not because they're going for it. It just bums me out. But so what do you? I mean, again, like in the original, you have the lore of David Egan, and they're looking for who they hit with the car. This one, they half-ass it with that whatever Pastor Judah, who I think was a waste. He was in one or two scenes, and then you just get his body propped up dead because we have to have another body because
Yeah.
I remember we're a horror movie and we have to see another dead body. I thought that was wasted and it pales so much in comparison to like the Missy and David Egan of it all, kind of mystery of the OG. It's forced and it's rushed. He had not enough impact on the movie to even be. I forgot about him until I saw his dead body. I'm like, oh, okay, there he is.
I know. Well, especially because at that point in time, it's your first introduction to this character. At least for me, we already knew it wasn't him. Like, at least I knew it
because we had the
probably
"It's
wasn't
You"
him.
in the shop. with
Unless they were
Tyler.
going to go crazy with it and have like these different layers
right.
to the killings, but I was like, okay, what are we doing here? It was such a whirlwind. I felt like my head was in the washing machine with that character. Yeah, I agree. And he's great. Austin Nichols, he's been in some stuff. He's in that show, One Tree Hill. He's a good
Yeah, I like
actor
him.
too.
I
So
like
I
him.
feel like he could have played it up really well as a really good red herring, and
He was
they just didn't
wasted.
give him any screen time. Yeah.
All right, so you get that the town hall, all the blah 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 blah. I want to go to the cemetery scene because you talked about that how you liked the cemetery props of Helen Shivers, and I like that Barry. We didn't forget about Barry because that foursome was iconic. So give Barry some respect too. I like that, but again, you had an opportunity for a chase scene and it wasn't. She just runs into the basement quick. You don't even see the fisherman following her, let alone a chase scene. So again, so disrespectful to the legacy with chase scenes, and I was so excited to see her get chased, but she just runs in the basement with like the Croaker Queen shell, and he just slams her head, and then Teddy comes and punches him. So don't fuck with me, I'll fuck you up. I'm like, it's the cheesiness of the dialogue is so bad, but yeah, I thought this was a way. We get a cool throat slit of the graveyard dude. When she asked to get the camera, and I thought thankfully we have another moment of violence because again, I think the slashing is an afterthought. But I think this overall scene, it did play better on my second watch because I was so bummed out the first time I saw it. The second one, all right, I kind of see like it flows, but it's so disappointing.
Oh, it is, yeah, especially on the first watch, because again, you're waiting for that big chase
Mhm.
scene, and
Yeah.
it's almost like the director knew you were waiting for it because she set up these set pieces so perfectly for such an epic chase and just doesn't deliver. So I
Yeah.
wonder if that was intentional, like she was trying to fuck with us.
Just the execution. I don't know if the production was rushed, but the execution's a huge problem with this movie.
Okay, yeah, yeah. It's funny because the execution in and of itself, I don't have a big problem with, but it's those expectations versus what we got, which is really what bummed me out.
Yeah, I mean, I know, and I knew from the beginning when we did this, I was going to sound more negative because I'm very, passionate about this. But again, like I do think it's entertaining. It's just I have so many problems with it. It's fun but a mess. So I guess we're gonna go
Yeah.
to when after Danica gets attacked, Danica, Teddy, Ava, and Milo are staying in the house together because she doesn't want to be alone. And I think Stevie, I barely talked about her, but she has to go to the bar to work because she works with Ray. Ding ding ding. So then we get this ridiculous scene. Ava and Milo start to like, have sex, and she's like, choke me. He's like, I can't. He goes, this is so cheesy, guys. He goes outside when they know that Danica was just attacked. He goes outside by himself, and his phone's dying, so he goes la-di-da-di-da in the car to get his charger, and then his death scene comes, which this almost feels like Jen Kate, she wanted to if you want to subvert expectations and have the girls be like the heroes. I think it would have been cool for this sequence, especially because he just gets choked out, and again the sound design was fucking awesome. Like the sound of him choking was so good, but it was so bland overall, and I thought it would have been a cool opportunity to have him be chased around have a male have a chase scene and get chased around the property. I thought that was a missed opportunity if you want to subvert and be very 2025. Have a guy get chased around and then killed. He was just walks up to the house and gets choked out quick and dies. So I was like, that again would bum me out. What did you think about that, Ted? It was kind of just
Yeah, it was. I know. You talk about how he splits up from the group. This is going to be an easy never split up
for
segment
sure.
because there are so many moments in this film where you're like, wait, what's
Yep.
going on with these characters? Why are they not taking this seriously?
It's almost
I
like
think it
it's
was
just
just
because it's
poor
a script
planning.
and not like natural.
Yeah.
It's like that's what it
Yeah.
says in the script.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that this wasn't a chase like the big chase scene. We didn't get any, so I guess it would have been better than nothing.
Yeah,
but
kind of
if I had to pick, it definitely wouldn't have been Milo because I thought he was like probably my least favorite of the group. I think he really wasn't giving much of a performance compared to the others, and I get for you it was a little over the top with the others, but I think while they were over the top, it did feel natural because they played off each other, if that makes sense. It wasn't
Right.
just one that was doing it and the others were kind of in a different stratosphere. They were all kind of in the same universe, but except for Milo, I feel like Milo just didn't really fit. So I wasn't a big Milo guy, so
Okay.
I'm kind of glad he had a quick death. We only get 4 big deaths in this film, so it would have been cool to see a bigger set piece, but kind of a nothing burger for me.
Yeah, I just feel like he didn't give him enough to do. I thought the actor was like fine, but he didn't really have much to do. So I'm like, oh, bummer for that actor. But the cast is very hot looking, the whole cast. So like they got the hotness of the '97 back. I'll give them that. But it's just again, they're not my people. So I guess let's go to I guess Ava and Danica, they visit Judah's thing, and then they are arrested. So they're put in the holding cell. They're locked in. I feel like that's so illegal to be locked in the waiting area or whatever. They
yeah,
couldn't
definitely.
leave. But I'm like, all right, okay, movie's gonna movie. But I want to get to the Teddy and his dad, the mayor, death scene, because you said it. I thought this setup. I actually thought this was. I think I'm more positive on it than you. Maybe I thought the setup and I thought it was executed maybe the best. The sequence I love. It's not a chase scene, but I do love how much like Helen Shivers, she had the hope of the crowd of the parade when she was running toward it. Teddy, after he's stabbed a couple times, I do love that it's slow. Like he's stabbed and you see him crawling up to the house. I love that. And he sees his mom and he's yelling like, "Mom!" That to me, like that's his hope slowly diminishing. So I thought that was really good. I just feel like logistically something was wrong with it. I don't know, the layout and logistics, something felt off. So that was my issue. But I do think my favorite actual kill is when his dad comes out and he sees his son dying. He actually dies in his arms. Like, okay, we're getting something good. And then I do like how you got the hook, like literally like went through one throat, side of the throat and the other. I thought that was the most violent moment of the movie. So I appreciate these kills because I felt some horror. And like I said, I feel like the director was focused on camp and silliness over horror in a horror slasher. So this was the one moment I'm like, okay, here we go. So I liked it, but logistically it felt a little off to me, but overall I liked it. What about you?
Yeah, this was the last big kind of kill sequence before we get to the ending. So we had the 3 kills prior. So we're getting towards the end of this movie, and by this point, the fisherman has, established his power level, and
Mhm.
he doesn't fuck around. Again, there's no big chase scenes, partly because the fisherman is pretty freaking capable. As
Yeah.
much as you want to blame our characters, but I thought he was pretty menacing in this film. So I thought it would have been awesome for Teddy to have the big chase, because he's our physical character in this group, and you kind of get some of the fighting back in like the one hallway,
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
which
yeah.
is very Helen Shivers-esque. So I thought that would have been really cool to have this big menacing fisherman who has taken care of his first victims kind of get his first real challenge in
Mhm.
Teddy. And we get a little bit of it, and then all of a sudden he just kind
Not long
of
enough.
takes his legs out. He's crawling to the house, but there was never any way he was going to escape. So it would have been really cool, though. You talk about Milo kind of flipping the script and having a guy. I think this was the moment where
Yeah, that
we
would've
could
been
have
sweet.
gotten a really cool chase scene where Teddy is kind of fighting back and it's kind of evenly matched.
Yeah, maybe flip what I mean. Again, to me, these aren't my people, so flip whatever one. But and then that's Teddy's house. It would have been cool to see him try to like go through because he's rich, his family. So like go through the cool contraptions in the house, like Helen did in the store, and maybe be chased. So again, like, why was that not in the movie?
Wasted potential for sure. Yeah,
that's
wasted
what the
potential.
name of the. I mean, I know, but that's the name of the game with this movie is wasted potential.
Yeah, the kills itself were fine. His dad, again, the hook
I like
slowly
that.
going through the neck was really cool.
I
Yeah,
was
it
like,
took
that
its
was I
time.
was like, ooh. I took my mom because my mom's a big. She showed me the original. I took her. She was like, at that scene. So, and again, she doesn't watch as much, so she did have fun with it. But she did. I mean, her boy's Ray, so she had some things to say about that. She loves Ray, so she's like,
It's
what
all
the
our boy.
fuck?
Yeah, it's
I
Freddy.
know.
I mean, come
But
on.
yeah, I agree. Cool scene could have been epic.
Yes.
That's what I feel like.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? The name of the game is. So I do like though how Ava, Danica, and Stevie they find when the cops are like, you can leave now. We have deaths. So they just magically leave. And I do like how I really like the visual of Teddy and his dad hung up. I thought that was cool. That was really fucking cool looking. I'll give them that. That was awesome. I really
Yeah, it
enjoyed
was.
that. I really enjoyed that.
It fit. That's what I wanted more of, because it was like on the docks. You got that Southport feel to it.
Southport,
Kind of like
sunny summer
Amity
day.
Island-esque,
Yeah,
Shaw's-esque, how they're
yeah.
hanging the shark up. I mean, I wanted more of that, and I'm really bummed that it was kind of like a different setting.
Well, it was an afterthought.
I really
all
love that
stuff.
visual. Yeah.
So then we're
For sure.
off to the races with such a weird. Oh, again, the editing to me too is a little. Oh no, and they do. So we're off to the races. Stevie's like, I go to the boat, but before that, Ava finds Milo's body, and this is. I feel like the actor who played Milo was wrapped, and he finished his filming before they had the finding the bodies, because you just see his arm, and I feel like, for as an audience, when Ava reacts to feel her emotion, why don't we see his face? I would just almost feel like, and again,
Yeah,
I'm
I didn't-
nitpicking with that,
yeah.
but I'm like,
Yeah,
I want
that's
to,
a nitpick, I think.
I want to see him. I don't want to see his arm flailing out the door. Show me him.
Yeah.
Like, come on, do the
I
work,
mean-
people.
I think seeing Ava's reaction was more important than seeing Milo.
Yeah,
I mean, we knew what he
guess.
looked like.
I guess, but then we're off. We go on Teddy's boat, and Stevie really takes charge of that to drive it. Like we have to go, get on the boat. So hint, hint.
Oh no, that's Ray. Ray does.
Oh, Ray.
Ray comes.
Oh yeah,
So
Ray.
Ray's-
Ray. Yes.
Ray comes to the docks and he's
It
like,
says
"You
get on
guys
the-
have
yeah.
to leave." Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
And then
it's Ray.
Stevie takes him on the boat, Teddy's boat, and they leave. So it's the three of them. It's Stevie, Danica, and Ava driving away. And clearly, I also instantly knew once we got on the boat where that was going. Very obvious. So yeah, and again, that's fine because I don't. If I figure something, I mean, I watch movies endlessly. So if I figure it out, it's not a problem. It's just the execution, much like Scream. Once the reveal happens, that means a lot to me too. And I don't feel like I know. People compare I Know and Scream, I think, lazily because they came out in the same era. You had the it actors of the 90s, but in the first one, it's more like they're looking for who they hit. So that's the mystery. It's not a whodunit of all who's killing everybody. So I think people forget that they're similar in ways, but they're also very different in ways. So
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because they are different. They are distinct. Obviously, there's going to be overlap because they
of
are
course.
two whodunit slashers. But I do think that they, especially the OGs, and even I still know it doesn't
agree,
work for me.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it has its own identity,
Yeah.
and I think that's why this movie bummed me out so much because they just went full Scream. I feel like this movie felt so much like Scream compared to the first two that I was really bummed out that, they did that, especially this ending. I mean, you switch out Fisherman for Ghostface, and it's a Scream movie. I'm sorry.
They went full Scream
beat
too
for
late,
beat
though.
a Scream movie. Yeah.
I do like the camp once it's revealed. Like, I like her, but again, if you're gonna go Scream and do a monologue, let your actors have more than 30 seconds of, like, campy. You already were cold camp the whole movie. Let her have a little monologue. She has, like, 30 seconds of dialogue, and we find out, Sam Cooper. We actually didn't, like, her dad left, or he died, I can't remember. Her dad left, and she went through it, and she went to rehab
He
and got
left
help.
and took her money, yeah.
Yeah. So she got help. She's going through that, and then we find out she found Sam Cooper, who's the person who died in the accident. So that's why she's involved and wants to kill him. I do like, and again, I think the actress, Sarah Pigeon, she was like camping it up in a good way when she was revealed, but she didn't have enough to. She didn't. It was just 30 seconds, and then let's fight and get a really lackluster fight scene, by the way. So I feel like I wanted to see her be that kookiness a little bit longer with her dialogue to them. I do like the line where she's like, I thought about killing myself, but then I realized I could just kill all of you. I'm like, that to me is fun camp. But let's get more of that before you have a really weird boat, really paled in comparison to the OG chase fight scene. Oh my god, that was like, to me, parody. So it's Stevie, and she hits Ava, and she chases Danica out, and then we get Freddie Prinze, who, while she's on, the front of the boat with Danica, Freddie Prinze, Ray comes to help. And I thought this was so weird when him and Ava approach, and she stabs Danica. Again, you didn't see blood when she stabbed Danica. I'm like, come on, she gets thrown overboard. So we're led to believe that Danica's dead. And then Ray's like, you don't want to do this. You have to stop. And then she's like, but I do. And then Ray actually shoots Stevie. And I think the second time I noticed, he purposely didn't shoot her, like, in a bad area. Like, I think she got shot, like, in the shoulders or arms. Like, so I'm like, okay, that makes sense on the second one, why he did that.
Okay.
I didn't realize.
So I think that he intentionally tried to kill her. I think he wants
to not live, to not have her live.
I think he wants to be the hero again. Yeah.
Yeah. See, because I think he has a line at the end with Ava in his boat when he reveals himself that he's like, she's not dead. I think he says that at the end. But I thought that was an interesting choice to have him shoot. Again, I feel like it should have been reversed. I feel like Ava should have killed Stevie, and Julie should have taken out Ray. So it should have been flipped. And then Ray, yeah. And then you get the whole Ray's like, let's go back. I'm like, because I already knew going in that he was the killer. So let's get to it. Let's get to this. This is huge for our final boy to be. This is a bold swing for this movie. And I think that the reasoning is there. And I feel like if you're going to do it with any character, like, you couldn't do it to Dewey. You couldn't do it to no. But Ray, you see even in the second movie how he's so aggressively trying to get to Julie. He's like getting a gun. He's like, fucking take me to Tower Bay Island, or I'm gonna fucking shoot you. So he has that intensity in him, and it would be fascinating to see how it affected him after all those years. But again, the execution and how much it's rushed, I can't accept him being a killer because I didn't have time for him to tell us why. Besides, I thought it was fascinating when he said, when Julie ends up figuring it out and arrives, like, they erased us, Julie. They erased what happened to us. Like, ooh, this is juicy. Like, let me get more of that. And then it's just like, he's like, oh, but I'm happy you're here because now I could use you. I'm like, no, I want to know what led you to this. So I just feel like, cool swing. I was like surprised. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this. But then it was too rushed for me to accept it. So in the end, I wasn't okay with it because of how rushed it was.
Okay, that's interesting. So we're talking about, like, pretty much the boat scene on. You started talking about.
So Ray's boat, yeah.
I'm ready to leave the theater at this point.
Okay.
I mean, this is where it goes full on Scream. You have, I knew it was coming, but the way it was handled was just so poor, I think. You have, obviously, the two killers. One of them's part of the friend group, which is kind of new, which is new to the franchise.
Which is cool.
You have, the rushed monologues. I don't agree. I don't see. Yeah, you don't think the monologues were rushed?
Oh, rushed. Super rushed, dude. They needed more time.
Yeah.
They needed way more time.
Yeah. I don't agree with Ray being the killer. I think especially because what went down in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, he went through hell to get to Julie. So not only is he the killer, but he, wants to frame Julie for the murders, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
Cool
I guess I technically agree with you that if they would have taken their time
Yeah.
with his character and really fleshed out why he becomes the killer, okay, it's hard to not get on board if they really like take care of it. But again, I hate to say it, I keep saying it throughout this podcast, but it's like they just had this idea and they like, we'll worry about the script later. We're just going to shoehorn this idea in and we'll just figure it out as we go along. And it doesn't really matter how it happens. It just has to happen. It's almost, dare I say, they made this movie like for TikTok, like for these little clips.
That's my whole point of this whole fucking movie.
Like these little like sound bites and these little clips that people can share online and be like, oh my God, this was a crazy moment. But cohesively as one story, it just doesn't fit at all. None of the puzzle pieces are fitting. And it's like, wait a minute, how we have right, not only is he the killer, but his motive is pretty silly. And, you know, is this why Julie hates him? We don't know. Like, did he have like these tendencies before? We have no idea. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get any answers if they do a sequel. Unless there's new people on board and they hire like new people, I don't think we're going to get anything.
I just think that, like you said, this movie is a bunch of ideas that are really cool, but they're thrown into a mess and they're like, we have this we have to do, but we don't want to take our time to flesh it out. And that's a big problem with this. And I'm going to blow everyone's mind right now. I actually weirdly accept him being a killer, but again, I don't accept it because he wasn't able to have more than a minute of dialogue. And I love when Julie came. I love her. I mean, Jennifer Love Hewitt screaming, "What are you waiting for?" Will always be iconic. I love that she does this. But let's just say, if this filmmakers really appreciate the OG and wanted to flip it, Julie should have killed Ray, but she should have had an epic set piece with him on this boat. He should have chased her around the boat. Like in the OG, when she thought that Billy Blue Ray was the killer, and then she ran onto the actual killer's boat, and who she thought who the killer was, Ray, ends up saving her. You flip it to now, 28 years later, where that person is now the one trying to kill her and chase her through this boat. That to me is good throwback nostalgia legacy sequel, like Chef's Kiss. Like Jennifer Love Hewitt walked on the boat. She didn't even move her standing position. She just stood there, yelled, "What are you waiting for?" which was so damn good. And then he went to go after her, and Ava kills him. So her and Ray have no physical fight or anything. That's such a big missed opportunity. She should have been chased around that boat. She should have been fighting him. They should have had, and then when he dies, they should have been like in my opinion, because I know you disagree, it should have been a very emotional moment a la Sydney and Roman in Scream 3, where she should have had some empathy and been upset that this is Ray, this is her ex-husband, this is the love of her life. She might not like him now, which we don't know why, which I think the movie is at fault for too, but it should have been an emotional moment for us fans and for Julie James when he dies, not like and again, I love my one-liners, but not like fuck 4th of July, right? I'm like, oh, come on, that could have been, she should have been crying, I think she should have held him as he died, even though he's a killer. It should have been very powerful and emotional, like Sydney has a lot in the finale of her movies in Scream. So again, that's again is disrespectful to not only Ray's legacy as a character, that Julie just was like, fuck it, but it's disrespectful to Julie to not have an epic set piece final girl scene fighting her, the ultimate villain of the franchise, because she really loved him. It's disrespectful to her as a final girl and a lead of this franchise too. So it's disrespectful.
I partially agree with you. I partially disagree with you. I definitely wanted a large set piece with Julie James being physical and Ray chasing her. I'm going to disagree, though, because I think Ava was a good enough final. I think it was a good idea to have her kill Ray and flip the script, because Julie, the first two movies, was always the one to do the killing blow and kind of take our killers out. So I think it would have been a cool way to usher in our new final girl and to help Julie. But I did want that big set piece. I wanted Julie to fight back and get the upper hand, and her to fight, scratch and claw. And then I think it would have been cool if after we get that big set piece, if Ava comes in and saves the day. Kind of how, Julie does with Ray in the second one. So that would have been better. But we get nothing. Not only do they not have a set piece,
they have nothing.
But okay, you're not going to give us a chase scene. You were teasing us all movie. Whatever. We just realized it's not going to happen at this point. At least have Julie be the one to put
Yeah.
Ray down. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, exactly. It's like, do one or the other, for sure.
It's disrespectful to both of them, and again, I love seeing them, but this is why I'm like hoping to the gods that like he's still alive and it's a fake out because they need that power. They need that final showdown, dude. That was
Yeah.
so messed up. So
I
messed
know.
up.
It's like, I agree with you, but it's like, part of me is like, they fucked it up so badly. I don't know. Like, it might get worse. I don't even know if they could save this.
It's
Almost.
just again,
It's almost like, this isn't the Ray I know. Even if they can somehow salvage this and he becomes the villain again, it's like, I don't really,
this is not my I know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Cool idea, very cool ideas, like very cool, fascinating ideas. Bad strong, like poor execution. That was not. I feel like there was not enough time given to a lot. And and I will say I mean, again,
I know. It's such a bummer because Jennifer Love Hewitt gave her all
I
in
know
this film,
for
and
what little
she still
yeah.
got it. So for what little she had, it's like, fuck. Why couldn't you just make a sequel with her as the lead? Like,
Dude,
why are we sticking to this? That's why I was so bummed at this formula, because we've seen
Yeah.
this formula before, and it's like,
Well,
God damn it, she still has it. Like,
I
why
know.
can't we give it to her? You
that's
know?
why I'm so amped for Scream 7, because we finally realized, like, make the
Yeah.
final girl the lead of your franchise. Like, that's the secret.
All right, so let's get to this mid-credit scene. Obviously, they're gonna fucking like, I guess, do a sequel where now Julie James is gonna be the lead. It's like,
She
why
better
didn't you just
fucking
give
be the
that
lead. That's
to
what I'm
us
saying.
right
So-
off the get-go? It kind of annoys me.
What I said
Like,
is
they're willing to do it in a sequel, but not the first one. And that's like, I don't
what
know.
I said was the mid-credit scene is the I Know What You Did Last Summer movie I want and need. So
Yeah, it's like, exactly. It's like, come on, guys.
Like,
Why
that's
didn't
what
we
I
just
wanted.
Do that from jump.
And I will say, well, first let's Danica. We found out Danica lived, by the way, guys. And they have a
Yes.
silly moment on the beach. It's like, this could have been avoided if Ben just went to therapy. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, so bad.
That line I didn't agree with because it didn't even make sense. I
Yeah.
mean, Stevie was the
And
catalyst for everything.
It was
so-
such like, oh, by the way, Stevie's alive. I guess we should go find her and kill her. I'm like, what? It's so stupid. It's so
Yeah.
stupid. But so we have two final girls in the new era too now. But I will just say, going to the mid-credit scene, Brandy, she felt like Carla, and that to me is important. I
Hmm.
thought she really felt like the Carla that I was with 27 years. Like, it felt in their relation. So I would appreciate, like, fuck everyone, and that to me was silly, funny, but not too much. Like, damn, everyone's trying to always kill that girl. Like, that to me, that's Carla. So
It's effortless.
Yeah, she was so
it's-
good.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I want. I love that you find out, she has an X across her name in the picture. And that's the movie I want. Like, why are the two girls who were left saying, I still know not? You're right. Why would, it's almost like a slap in the face of Jennifer Love. Like, we want to do this with new people, but we promise you'll get your sequel in the lead, the next one.
I know.
So, and hopefully,
It's like, you better hope this one makes money.
It's not
because,
doing too
you know,
hot
you're not-
because they decided
Yeah.
to release 8,000 movies on top of each other this summer. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I hope it gets.
I mean,
a
it's doing
sequel for that.
okay. I
It's
think it
doing
made like 25 million this
worldwide
weekend,
though.
so-
Worldwide, 25 million.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it might get us. I mean, this Sony and they gave Thanksgiving a sequel, but it didn't even make 50 million worldwide. So the budget, you're right, the budget's only 18 million on this. So they could finagle a sequel, but it better be Julie and Carla front and center with the co-leads. I guess you're gonna have to have Madeline Klein and Chase Sui Wonders back, but I want the Julie James movie and it's a shame that the Julie James movie is not one when she could have had the toe-to-toe with Ray. That's such a missed opportunity.
Well, it begs the question: if you're gonna do a Julie James movie with what's her name as
Carla.
the leads,
Yeah.
it's almost like you have to bring Ray back.
That's
that
what I'm
point, 'cause
saying. That's
other
what I need.
connection- What other connection is there gonna be?
What did you think about, because it said on the back of the picture it isn't over? Do you think that's an implication that it's a new killer or Ray, or what do you think of that?
It's kind of sounds like it's Ray.
I fucking hope
No,
so,
I-
because it has to
I
be.
don't know. It almost is like, unless it's a new character that
Yeah, I was thinking
we
maybe a
don't
new
know
killer but for my sake of needing the final showdown, I need it to be Ray. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But I will say that mid-credit scene, for all the things I bitched about, it left me excited for more.
yeah, me too. But it's like, again, it's almost it's like they had that the whole
I
time.
know.
They could have just made that the movie. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it just really bums me out.
It's a whole movie of cool stuff.
I'm so conflicted on this
Yeah.
film because I think more than you, I do like the new cast. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah, yeah, I
they did
would say
play it
that.
well for what they had. And I do like the tone of our villain. I think our villain was just as menacing as he was in the first two. We didn't get the huge sequences that we wanted, but this is a fun, like you said, it's fun. It's a fine slasher. It's cool to just throw on in the summertime. But yeah, as a legacy sequel, they almost rested on the fact that they knew they were gonna make Ray the killer. So everything else they just kind of was like very generic with, like the
Right.
beats of the film. So they kind of just were a little bit lazy, I think, with the script. But yeah, okay, that was it. Any other thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, I mean, I just hope for the I was very harsh on it, but I did have it. I rewatched it back to back, and I had no problem watching it back to back twice. So I had fun with it, but I mean, this is my baby, so I couldn't not be realistic. I love that some people love it. I see a lot of people who are more on my, age demographic who were like, this is not, I know and I still know, and I agree with that. But I'm happy for the younger generation who like love this and are going to see it. It's just not my I Know What You Do Last Summer, but it's entertaining and it's rewatchable. So it'll be part of my collection, and I will rewatch it. It's just not anywhere near the first two. So fun, but missed
Okay.
opportunity.
Okay, there you have it. Let's get into our never
Okay.
split up moments. I think I went first
Okay.
last time, so I'll let you do the honors.
And guys,
this
I
time.
did finally run our polls for like so many episodes, so make sure you guys are voting on that. This will go up to I'll put this in 28 years later, but I'm gonna go with the one I mentioned. It's Milo goes outside after we know that Danica just got attacked. He goes outside by himself just because he gets a little flustered. That Ava wanted him to choke her when they were having sex, when he could have just had a conversation with her after that, about like what. And again, that was a missed opportunity for an emotional moment with our new characters that I needed. Like, talk to me about this. Like, clearly she's dealing with trauma. Like, I want to have this discussion that, why is she acting like that? But it's all just played for light and fun. So yeah, he goes outside when there's a killer on the loose, and they're all aware of it, that the killer's after them. So that's a very dumb never split up moment. So I'm gonna go with Milo.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a literal split up moment too. It's just so easy to come up
Mhm.
with those in this movie. I'm gonna go the graveyard scene when Teddy and
They
Danica
split up.
just inexplicably split up.
So
It makes
stupid.
zero sense. They're waiting for the video footage, so they've
Yeah.
been waiting, I guess, for hours because now
It's
I'm told it's
nighttime.
nighttime. And Teddy's like, "All right, I'm gonna go find this guy and see what he's up to." And Danica's like, "Okay, I'll wait here." It's like, wait, what? Why are you waiting there? Makes zero sense. So that was kind of silly.
Yeah.
And like,
Classic.
again, if you're gonna give me a never split up moment, at least give me somewhat of a reason why they're
Right.
doing it. There was literally zero reason why they split up, and obviously
Well, the
that
reason
caused
is to
the
have
chase scene.
Danica to be alone, just because she has to be alone
Yeah.
for the chase.
Well,
But that's again, it's not natural. So, all right, guys.
All right, score time.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll save you for last. I sound like a broken record, but this movie is a fun time. I like the new cast of characters. I really wish they just stuck with our new cast and they just revitalized this franchise with a fresh idea and a fresh cast. And then if that does well, then you can have Julie and Ray come back and be leads in the next one. I think they mishandled Julie and Ray completely. The Helen Shiver fan fest, which in the moment I loved.
Mhm.
In the theater, I'm not going to say I didn't love it because I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. Obviously,
Yeah.
we all do. But looking back on it, it was just too much. It was overload. It did feel like a fan film, like someone who just idolizes Helen. It was weird. I didn't like the reveal. Obviously, the whole third act and the ending of this film felt very uncharacteristic, dare I say, of this franchise. And it got way too hokey.
Mm.
Ray being the killer, I think we're on the same page there. It would have taken a lot for me to really buy in to the fact that he's now the main killer. I think you were kind of a little bit more open to it than me.
Mhm.
But obviously it doesn't work, as we said. And yeah, this was a fine made movie. Like you said, the sound design was cool. It had some cool cinematography shots. Some of the set pieces were all right, but there was just so much wasted opportunity and so much wasted potential when you have someone like fucking Jennifer Love Hewitt who wants to be in this movie as much as possible and you just almost borderline disrespect her. It's hard not to have a sour taste in your mouth as a 90s kid and a fan of the original. So yeah, I'm going to give this, it's going to be right in the middle. I'm not going to give it as low of a score as the sequel. I do think it's a better made movie than I Still Know. I'm going to give this, I guess, like a 6.8.
Okay. Well, that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
6.8.
Okay. All right. Yeah, guys, this movie is light, fun, cheesy, slasher I know you did last summer. Again, it's very rewatchable. I will rewatch it. So I'll give it that. I just think that in a movie, it's just like you said, a movie where you know Ray's gonna be the killer, Julie and Ray have to be the leads. There's no other way around it. I mean, and they have to have powerful emotional scenes together, not just, fuck, there's Ray at the door and okay, I'm glad you're here because now I'm gonna use you. I'm like, that's not Julian Ray. We need powerful moments if you're gonna take a big swing like that. The cast is fine. They're not my jam like the OG, and I still know. It's a messy movie, but it's fun. I think the horror was an afterthought. They wanted to make it more fun and light and put the horror in later, which is a huge issue for me. Yeah, so overall, I'll rewatch it, but it's super flawed. And I gave the OG a 9.9, and I still know a 9.8. This one's gonna be a 6.2 for me. So again,
Okay.
yeah, I'm positive, but I'm definitely mixed with many problems positive.
Yeah, that's a big drop off. Okay. There you have it, guys. It both kind of didn't work for us, but it's fun enough to where, it's still kind of a watchable movie. It sounds like we're kind of on the same page with that. So, okay, that was our coverage on I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025. Let us know online and in the comments on our social media. Do you guys agree with us? Did you love this movie? Tell us why you love this movie. Did you disagree? We love to hear disagreements too. Just keep it obviously respectful. And look out for our poll for this film. Let us know which moment you agree with most as being the most dumb. And until next time, this is Nolan and Anthony for the Never Split Up podcast. Follow us on social media at Never Split Up Pod. We'll see you later. Bye.